Well, howdy. Welcome to Fables from the Pickled Quipper. This is session 25. Little peek behind the curtain. It has been, rather ridiculously, we have left off on that amazing cliffhanger, and because of various different things, it has been 2 months with this cliffhanger, the sword of Damocles dangling over.
I've been
Let's just-
thinking of a new PC.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. So quick little sort of update of what happened last. After coming back to speak with the kobolds, the Hand of Aegis returned in search of one of the missing kobolds, Sprock. A group of Durgar were encountered. For some reason, the group kept just walking into fight after fight after fight. The group returned to the central area, opened up a couple of doors that had been left unopened. One was just a little storage closet, and I think there may have been a handful of coins. Another one was locked, which was then opened. And then they found another door, which was not a door. Bador proceeded to get himself stuck, both hands, head, and 1 foot, I think.
I think that's right. Yeah.
To the mimic door, which was eventually slain. Once the mimic was slain, the actual doorway opened up into a worked stone. It's like a marble floor. There's a burning fire in the middle, a couple of desks, a bookshelf, some chests. And then you were greeted in your minds by an...
I'm not ready.
We were just talking, right?
creepy.
We didn't do anything silly.
Besides, well, Eska had to talk to somebody, and
Yes, Eska.
I don't remember. Maybe we should start it over. Just in case.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Eska sent a message to the purveyor.
I mean, that wasn't technically sending a message. I just kind of spoke it into the void in frustration, I think.
Oh, okay.
The fact that he's telepathic isn't my fault.
Right. He said something to the entire group. Well done. You've come so incredibly far. And that's where we stopped. Yeah.
I say that we just say, oh, thank you, and then sort of back out.
So, let's bring you back
glad you noticed.
Yeah.
Later.
here.
After 2 months, we probably took like a long rest, right?
Pretty sure we
Most
did.
certainly, there were no restings happenings. Yeah, in front of you, you see the room. It is lit up. Or at least you see some of the room. Bador, you are no longer stuck. Let's just quickly see if we can remember what all of these things are on everybody. On cassette... Oh, is it Aid? Is that what it is? On cassette, Eska and
Yep.
Silverius.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's it.
Okay. Silverius, you are 1 level of exhaustion?
Yes.
Is this still the level of exhaustion from the other thing we did?
Yep.
Yeah, because that was literally just a day ago.
And he'd had multiple levels, that was the problem.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
was
funny that you're
3
still
days
suffering
of it.
from that.
I know, it's hilarious.
He's super excited about it, you guys! Super excited!
It's been the worst. My
I-
character sheet, and I was like, advantage.
But did you have a good sword out of it? Did you? That's what I thought.
Sort of.
So, you see this in front of you. What would you like to do?
So we are known. I am going to. I think that my little radius was just like a partial sheathed blade light function. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and, fully unsheath my blade.
Are you sure you want to put that kind of energy out there?
I mean, it's light energy, not very heavy.
I don't know. The drawn sword is a little bit sort of aggressive.
I have a torch.
Oh, I thought you had... What? Hang on, you're using it as a torch, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's not gonna have it like fighting stance, but he is gonna like unsheath it and just so the standing there so it casts light in front of everybody.
Eska sees you draw your sword and interprets the signal and charges in. crying a war cry.
I
Hand of
stick my foot out to
Aegis!
try to trip her. I will grit my teeth and kind of look back at the rest of the group and just, well,
We should probably
And
go in. It's a bit
somewhat-
embarrassing to stand in the corridor.
I'm gonna slowly start marching forward, taking point.
I'll stay right next to Varius.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going to be close to him because he's my light.
fair. I mean,
Oh,
It's gonna be very meaningful.
so
Really, I just fall down if I'm not next to you.
I'm just going to hang just behind Cosette.
Yeah, Claire's sticking pretty close, probably, to Cosette, too.
there's a couple of statues of the left-hand side. Looks to be sort of old elf. Statue on the right appears to be maybe a human, also wearing old armor, like not currently in style armor. Behind each of those, there's what appears to be a small bowl. There's pillars that you can see sort of into the left and right. Curved walls come up, and there's a table alongside each of these curved walls. One has a chair sitting at it, and there appear to be some papers on the desk. The other desk appears to be empty. There's a bookshelf with, brief glance, looks like some old, probably worn-out books. Hard to make out at a brief glance, but you can see there's two chests still, sitting one either side of the bookshelf. There does not appear to be, at this time, anyone other than yourselves in this space.
the corridors and hallways, do they all look like I guess the walls and the ceilings, and is everything pretty clean and shaped and formed, constructed, or is it
This is
like
this is
stalactites
worked stone. Basically, beyond the mimic, everything changed. Once you go through that doorway, you have polished, nicely worked marble. The columns are made of marble. The statues are, if not marble, at least some other sort of a good stone for working with. But realistically, they're probably marble too. This is wholly unlike the area you were in before, which was mostly sort of naturally occurring structures that had been sort of repurposed to give like a flatter floor and that sort of thing.
Can I
Okay.
check for traps?
Make a perception check.
Can I in that
What was that?
being the first ones into
Yeah,
the room?
you can assist. So you can roll with advantage.
23.
23. So looking around the room, you kind of eye up the statues suspiciously, without getting too close. You kind of like check the ceiling, looking for little holes that might indicate blowpipes or little fire spouts. Look for pressure points on the floor, something like that. Nothing seems untoward.
Table had the papers.
The one on the left, as you come in.
After kind of looking around the room and not seeing anybody, but just gonna start walking over towards the papers, cautiously while keep on looking around and say just back to the group, along the lines of, just keep your eyes peeled. He's aware we are here.
So Varys, as you move towards the table, you hear just in your own mind, No, those aren't for you.
Stop and kind of stand up tall and just say out loud, and who are they for?
There's no response. To be clear, the other four of you, Silverius just said that with no apparent provocation.
Claire's just kind of like hiss at him. Who are you talking to?
Our friend is in our minds. And he does not desire our investigations of... And he kind of like looks back at the papers.
I'm curious about this. Like with my stonecraft or my stone knowledge from being a mason in the past, can I like look around and see if there's like any trapdoors See if like he's hiding somewhere or something along those lines.
Make investigation with advantage. Oh, actually, let me reread that. No, just make investigation. Add 6 to your roll.
Okay.
We'll sort of apply the stone cunning buff to it, essentially.
Okay. So let's see. 20.
Okay. You
Unnatural.
kind of scan the walls. Go up to a couple of them, just looking for odd joints, anything that could be out of place. Looking for a weird seal or something. You do not detect anything untoward on the walls, or the floor, or the ceiling.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Detect Thoughts. What right now I'm trying to detect any
Detect the presence
any
of thinking
creatures.
you can't see.
Yeah.
Nice sonar move.
Within 30 feet of you, eh?
Yeah, and then I'm just going to wander around the room, not making any move towards the table. I'll circle back around.
You detect a presence.
Whenabouts do I detect it?
As you return back to Claire's side,
Now I've detected it, I'm going to detect its thoughts.
so you learn the surface thoughts of the creature, correct?
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit pushy to go for a deep dive here.
Okay. Surface thoughts of the creature. You gauge 1, that it is upset that you have entered into its chambers. 2, you can tell that it is observing you and sort of assessing you, essentially, you and your party. And 3, you gauge that it is becoming aware that you are reaching out into its mind, and you sense an increase in hostility.
Before letting it drop, I say, there's no need to hide. Why don't you...
Out loud.
Yes. Why don't you come and talk to us?
So between me and Claire, we've just seen 2 people talk to nothing.
That would be correct.
Pretty much. Claire's gonna, turn around and look at Eska.
He's here.
As you turn and look, Claire, if you're, say, looking at Bardor, you turn, look at Cosette, turn round towards Eska, you see emerge in the corridor from behind you the purveyor.
Very well. Let's talk.
Oh, gods, he's here.
That's what I was trying to say.
She's gonna back up a little bit away from the hallway.
And the purveyor is going to sort of slowly walk in. Cassette, what are you
That
doing?
doesn't have great. She doesn't have great perception. So she would probably just now be sensing something's going on and turn around.
So as he kind of slowly walks up, what are you going to do?
Far enough.
She raises a shield.
I
Once-
adopt
once
a
we-
slightly more aggressive stance. Slightly.
Once we see him, I drop Detect Thoughts.
And he kind of shifts his head over to you suddenly and says,
For the best, I think. So, you delved deeper and came into my chambers.
Isn't that what you wanted us to do?
You are certainly more appetizing than you were when we last met.
and he kind of, you can kind of see he kind of sniffs a little bit, as if he's kind of just tasting the air around him. And the tentacles are just sort of constantly moving, twitching. You have a better look at him than you did last time. Previously, you were in a fairly dark hallway. Now he is illuminated in bright light. And you're very close. You can see this sort of large, oversized blue head. He's wearing rather exquisite-looking breastplate armor, bronze in color, and you see there are spiders in a spider's web that are etched onto it, and it looks like every now and then the spiders move. He stands fairly tall, certainly taller than most of you.
You killed my Durga. That was an inconvenience.
We gave your Durga all that they deserved. They attacked us, and we are not going to sit by idly and die.
Remains to be seen.
Does it now? Now that we are in your abode, tell me, what are your plans to do with us? If it was to kill us, I assume that you would have done so by now.
Depends how much I am inconvenienced. Losing my Durga has set me back some time, so I am already inconvenienced.
And you see his tentacle sort of twitch angrily.
What did you expect us to do with them?
Ignore them. Just surrender yourselves. Realize that you are up against something far greater than you, and surrender.
That surely is not what you really want from us. You seem like you want a challenge. You want something of power. If we just surrendered and gave up, we wouldn't be of any interest to you, surely.
Make an insight check, Eska.
Oh. 15.
This is just your second encounter with mind flayers or illithids. You suspect there was a slight smile on its face. Hard to
tell
gauge.
with the tentacles, yeah.
It is. But you suspect there may have been.
To be truthful, the only reason we have delved deeper this time is to look for a friend.
The kobold. I had a feeling you had grown fond of him.
Well, he's kind of part of a set.
I too like collecting sets.
It's just sort of an awkward pause as you take in the fact that it's sort of like just looking at the five of you.
Wait, what use is he to you? Or did you take him to get to us?
Maybe I did. You're ever so intriguing. And you know things you shouldn't know.
I'm fairly sure you know things you shouldn't know as well.
But I should know them. That is the difference.
Do you refer to the strange shift that happened?
What shift?
Does he seem like he really doesn't know?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give you that one. No need to roll. You suspect he may have been a little bit facetious there.
Oh, you know, just where the entire world shifted and changed?
That shift.
Was there any other you would like to inform us of?
No, I think it's just the one.
And how are you aware of it, besides your magnificent power, of course? Did you purely sense it? Or were you more instrumental in its happening?
I am powerful, but I am not quite that powerful. No. That was done by another.
Does it please you or displease you?
It pleases me immensely.
And why? pleasure do you take in a planar shift?
He kind of looks at you and he says, "You think you are on a different plane? Perhaps you are not as smart as I thought you were."
His sword raises to like stretched out straight, and he's
Hold your tongue.
I'm not moving my tongue.
spit on the ground.
We arrived here weeks ago and encountered you. You let us go under the guise of feeding yourself better. And yet you stand here playing games with us now. Feel free to tell us what is on your mind. Otherwise, we might be reaching an end to our conversation.
Is the ripeness of your minds. I am concerned you are still not quite ready. This disappoints me.
You may be waiting a while for Silverius.
You get a bad side eye.
I just
Terminator level side eye.
I will definitely chuckle at that. Where's the kobold?
Safe for now. Apparently you weren't looking hard enough.
And he sort of seems disappointed, almost. You see him sort of close his eyes and start thinking on something. And he says,
I think perhaps it is time for me to leave. You have failed to meet my expectations.
Before you go,
Yes.
is there anything of interest about this shift of which you seem to know more than we do that you could share? Perhaps expand our minds a little bit, get us closer to ripeness.
Perhaps there are some things you may learn. It is certainly worth you knowing that you are on the very same plane. And for now, that is all you need know.
you see him start to mutter, and his hands start moving. Does anyone do anything?
I mean, I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna draw my bow, and I'm gonna hold an action. If he attacks, basically, I'm gonna let loose.
Cassette, you doing anything? I'll go down the line.
She's got her flail and shield raised, but nothing. She's not going to make the first move.
Okay, Silverius?
I would assume casting a spell.
I believe he is casting a spell.
Precautionary measure. He's just going to stand there with his sword still stretched out.
Eska?
I don't really want to do this. Eska's going to attempt to step in front of them and just put her arms out behind, as if to kind of stop them moving forwards. Does that make sense?
Yes. So it's more of a defensive move despite moving forwards. Really?
It's not even defensive. It's like her way of saying, "Don't."
Okay.
And hoping to indicate to the purveyor that she doesn't intend to attack.
Okay. And Claire?
Claire just has her shield in front of her, and her hammer is it's in her hand, but it's loose. It's pointed towards the ground. And if you listen really carefully, you can hear the tinkling of her scale mail as she's trembling in her boots.
So mean now. So, Eska moves to kind of intercept Cosette and Silverius. concerned about the hotheads in the group, apparently. You see the spell complete, and you hear behind you a flutter as papers lift from the table and fly towards the purveyor, passing in between Bardor and Cassette, and he just sticks out a hand and grabs them.
I have what I need for now.
And then mutter something else.
There was no time to reactionary try to grab the papers, was there?
Not given that you were sort of preparing for an attack more than anything else. So you heard a rustle and they were coming from behind you, and basically in the turn, they went from the table to his hand. So that there wasn't really an opportunity to grab them. But yeah, he says he has what he needs, and then he mutters something else, and he disappears.
Do I recognize this is arcane capabilities, natural abilities?
Make an Arcana check.
18 with disadvantage.
Oh. You are not 100% sure, but you can rule out him just turning invisible. He did not go invisible, though you suspect he may have that capability based on the way he was moving around earlier, apparently, and the way he emerged. It did not have the appearance of Dimension Door, as that literally does create a sort of arcane portal. There's no suggestion of a teleportation circle, so obviously he's not just teleported out in that way, and you know that traditional teleportation using circle, like you have to create a circle to teleport out, so he didn't do that. Which leaves you with only a few options. He could have simply shifted to the ethereal plane, or he may have shifted to an entirely different plane altogether. It's unclear. You are convinced that he is no longer right there in front of you. He has definitely used some sort of magical transportation system, but it is well beyond your personal grasp.
I lower my hands and say, apologies. I just felt like he wasn't going to attack, and I didn't want to ire him any. He already felt a bit agitated.
When I was stepping towards the table, he spoke to me and stopped me about those papers. I feel we surrendered some sort of valuable information. However, it was not what we were originally here for. We apparently missed our cobalt quarry.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not ready to fight that thing.
I am ready to fight him, but not.
I mean no offense, Silverius, but you're ready to fight anything.
I draw tired of him with each encounter.
I get the feeling that's his nature. He likes to play mind games. And I know you're not really one for mind games.
No.
I'm not saying that to offend you. I mean, you don't like mind games. I'm not saying you don't have a mind.
I wasn't thinking before, now I am.
So Varius steps up to Eska and he's like,
And I would request that you stop playing games with me.
Yes, knowing that about you, I should probably do that. I'm not used to such straight talking people.
Well,
But I guess if I'm going to be straight with you, I think he could probably eradicate you in but a moment. As he could maybe any of us.
I hold my head up high and he's just,
We shall find out one day. Put it to the test.
Eska just sort of shrugs.
I'm gonna start rifling through all of his stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll say as I start doing that, say, well, I guess maybe we should try to sweep the area again, see if we can find the kobold.
I'm gonna, when I'm walking by Claire, I just look to her and he doesn't say it aggressively or mean. He just says,
Stand firm.
and continue on to rifle.
Okay, so Butter, at the desk you're at, there's no drawers to it. It's just the top. Most of the papers are gone. You do see one that apparently somehow got missed by those practicing Arcana would probably recognize that as some form of telekinesis. That grabbed the papers and carried them to him. One got left behind, and it was this.
It's a pity that everyone was preparing for battle there, because it could have been like in like a scene like in Harry Potter where all the letters are flying out the chimney, and we're just desperately trying to catch them.
I feel like trying to steal his stuff would have instigated a battle.
So there is. This is like the first page. There's only a couple other pages that were associated with this, but you see the name Cater Tristeric, a reasonable sketch of Cater, though they appear to have his hair color a little off. From your experience, it's a little paler than that. Information about him. I'll read out, since not everyone will be able to see this if you're listening on a podcast, everybody. It says, apprentice alchemist, studied at the Academy of Alchemical Arts in Delsmer, abandoned studies after the Rift, and took up traveling with the Hand of Aegis, believed to be the first one to listen to Duarte. Cowardly and clumsy, recently stopped moving around with the rest of the group and took up new apprenticeship with Ingfrin at the Dried Bunch. Seems to have a genuine gift for alchemy. Could be useful. The page behind it is just a sort of a brief outline of his past before you knew him, sort of how he ended up getting into alchemy, his parents, that sort of information.
So I'll say he's tracking us. Look, he's got this biography of Cater.
I'll take it and kind of look over it and pass it to whoever's near.
Claire definitely will take a look at it, and when she is scanning it, just mention, how does he even know that we call ourselves the Hand of Ages? I mean, we just decided that, like, yesterday.
Would Cassette know anything about, like, just scrying? Like, would she be aware that that's something that's...
Make Arcana or History. I have a feeling I know which way you're going to lean on that.
Yeah.
In general, everyone can make just a straight intelligence roll.
Eska says, and how did I never notice that he looks just like David Hasselhoff? It seems so obvious now.
Wow, yeah, he does.
Whoa.
21 was hilarious.
Intelligence. Okay, the Hasselhoff comment threw me off, and I forgot what I was doing.
Claire's not feeling very intelligent at the moment with a 6. She's not thinking straight.
I'm probably not.
Because I got 15 and I'm history, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, 4. No,
Smart now, Wesker.
Okay. Gosh. So, first of all, Cassette, you believe that you have heard of techniques for magically tracking people. You're not necessarily aware with the process of it, but you know that it has been done. It's something that nobles in particular are keen to try to protect against, because obviously there are things that they don't want people to know. So there is very much a sort of a counter divination trend in the aristocracy that you probably would at least have heard of. Whether it's anything that you've encountered necessarily, perhaps not, but you know that there is magic that can be used to follow people.
Okay, she just briefly shares that, kind of thinking out loud almost.
And Silvarius, as you kind of look through the log and just sort of joining the dots, you are fairly confident that the pieces of paper that were scooped up, among them were similar files for the 5 of you, and that he probably didn't want you to know what he knew about you.
Oh,
Is this also the first time that we're seeing a reference to capitalized, so assuming important, the rift? Or have we called it that before?
I believe you have referred to it as that.
But I'm assuming the fact that he's calling it the rift makes it more official.
Yes.
But just because it's been a while since we've mentioned that, that's not the Great Rift, right?
Correct. That's the Great Rift. This is just
The Rift.
the mediocre Rift. The okay,
Okay.
Rift. The tries hard but could try harder Rift.
Gotcha. Because whenever I first read that, I was like, wait a minute, what is this?
riffing off of what Cossette informed everybody. I mean, Silvarius will just elaborate that. Yeah, he knows a lot more of us, and he's trying to hide the information that he knows.
One other thing you do see, there's information about the velvet glove.
Can you say that more seductively?
The velvet glove.
Thank
you. You're very welcome. And specific mention of someone in Delsma called the Falconer. Basically, there's just some scribbled notes, sort of hastily put down on paper. It looks like actually a message that he received that explains that there's 2 factions forming within the Velvet Glove. Sorry, 2 factions forming within the Velvet Glove. One who are more pro Drakesburg and Drakesburg influence, and one who are very much against that influence.
So, Velvet Glove and somebody within that called the Falconer?
Yes.
This is all known information to all of us, or is Barter reading over
But
this?
I mean, Bardo has that information.
I mean, I'll read it aloud. There's no point on me holding back any.
Is there not a falconer that can communicate with the council in the woods?
That's what I was thinking. We heard of this Velvet Glove before?
Make a history check.
Is there pictures on the paper? Or just all notes?
This is just scribbled notes.
Okay. No, like velvet glove symbol.
No.
It's 3.
Would he get regional advantage?
Oh, go on, have regional advantage. That's reasonable.
Yay. 7.
You may have heard it before, but you can't place it right now. It's not necessarily that you haven't heard it, but right now you're. I think it's more a case of you are still sort of like dealing with what just happened and the various implications of what's just happened. And that's kind of occupying your mind, so it's a little bit hard to think about the Velvet Glove.
Oh, that's sticking.
Well, we can ask around in town, but it might be something to be careful about. I don't know if it's a secret society or something. Maybe
Perhaps not something we should ask about too loudly.
not really, but that might be something to ask Captain Illiscu.
Law enforcement, indeed. Perhaps Kelly knows something as well.
What did the if I get a little closer to the like chests and stuff, do they look like they like, are they locked or just I don't want to get too close to them, but
Which one you want to do?
I'll do the right one.
Okay. Just kind of eyeballing. You think it's locked? You can kind of see, like if you crouch down, you can kind of see where there's like a little hint of a lock mechanism in place. Certainly has a keyhole.
Obvious keys laying on the tables.
Make an investigation check.
I like that you're trying to do this without getting him to make you make a roll that you know you're not going to do well at.
If I can make 4 good rolls, that may be better than 1 bad roll.
Yeah.
18 total.
You look around on the desk. This desk is pretty much empty. Like there's a couple of blank pieces of paper, and that's about it. Looking over at the desk the bar door's at, doesn't seem to be any keys over there either.
Do I notice Cassette looking around at the stuff?
Yes, I was not sneaking.
Okay. Do you want me to open it? I've got a lockpick.
Yeah, I was just trying to, knowing him, and he wouldn't leave anything in here without it being protected. And with his magical abilities, I was just trying to make sure there wasn't an easy way to get them open. But
Yeah, you might want to be careful, but
I mean, I can check for traps, but if it's magic in any way, I don't really have anything that can stop that. I don't really feel like he's going to be leaving behind anything too great at the same time.
technically, he did seem to be somewhat surprised we were in here. So
It's true. He did kind of get out in a hurry.
Protected his, yeah. He didn't protect his important documents, so it's possible these aren't heavily protected.
It's true. One of you more learned folk should probably check the bookshelf to see if there's anything of interest there. And I guess I'll look at the chests to see if there's any traps on them that I can determine.
Okay, which one first?
Oh gosh. I'll the left since I'm there.
Okay. Give me investigation.
14.
Doesn't look trapped.
Well, I'll walk up to it, and since Silvarius is kind of standing next to me, I'll be say, maybe you should back up a bit just in case.
5 foot back.
Everyone's standing back. All right, I'm gonna. Is it locked?
It does appear to be locked. Yes.
If you
Just a
unlock
thing.
it and step back, I can open it without any of us being near it.
Okay,
Alright,
I'm good now. Go for it, Bardo.
I hear Eska's voice, I guess.
Maybe.
So I'll try to unlock it, and I'll make sure to and I'll back up whenever Claire can open it up.
Go ahead and roll. It is thieves' tools.
13.
Okay. So you kind of crouch down and start playing with the tools. You hear a click, and you think, "Oh, I've got it." And then you hear and 2 small darts fly at you from a hitherto unseen compartment. I'm guessing a 12 doesn't hit you.
No.
Okay, well, how about a 9?
No.
Okay, so these 2 small darts fly out, narrowly scrape off your armor, and as they sort of whiz across the room, you can hear a crackle of energy on them that dissipates as they hit the ceiling. You suspect it was probably some sort of lightning-based attack. The box does not seem to be unlocked.
Well, I'm gonna look at it real close, and then I'm gonna nod and pull out my axe and just start hacking at it.
Silvarius kind of smiles a little.
Roll an attack.
Since this is the first round of combat.
Oh my god.
12.
You hit it, but you don't make much of a dent. It seems pretty sturdy. It's thick, strong wood, metal bound. The locking mechanism is well protected. You don't feel like you've made any progress.
How big is it?
3 feet across, 1 foot wide, and about a foot tall. 1.5 tall.
I'm gonna kind of test it to see how heavy it is.
Okay, make a strength check.
I mean, I'm not good at this, but I'm just kind of 17.
You think it's pretty darn heavy. What's your strength? It's 10, 11?
10, 11,
10.
11. Yeah, 11.
Carrying it could be painful, but you could probably drag it.
I'll walk away and just be like, I'll deal with you. go to the next one. Does anybody else want to try?
I'm just gonna start looking at the books on the shelf.
Roll investigation, please.
Seeing as it looks like Butter didn't die, I'll say. Well, hang on. Let me first check. Can I also potentially use a lockpick with no actual skill?
Yes.
I don't have skill. So,
No.
I'll just say to him, Butter, I do a little work on jewelry and small things as such. Maybe I could have a little fiddle myself.
sure.
You see what appear to be a pretty wide collection of books. None of them looks particularly fancy. They look pretty worn down. Just sort of browsing, you see one called Harmony Without Faith. You see another one that's called Success of Eternity. Weep for the River. Another one that's Descendants of Stone. Just sort of like picking up them, sort of flicking through. Some of them seem to be just sort of collected fictional works. Some of it, there's one called Blacksmiths and Guardians that appears to be sort of a history of the art of blacksmithing and how it supports the work of the military. There's probably 2 or 3 dozen books on here. Nothing really stands out though. Cassette, I think you were saying something.
No, if Eska's gonna try the other, I was just gonna say I could try to bash it with the shield or something to open it. But
Give me one moment to see if I can finagle it,
yeah, that's preferable.
and then bash away.
Go ahead and roll a dexterity check then. Just straight dex.
12. That's hard, isn't it, Butter?
Take a look. You hear a little click. You hear a... but nothing comes out.
Oh. Probably should have plugged those holes before I did that.
Apparently it was one shot.
Well, here's your pick back.
But it doesn't open.
I don't think it works.
I would like to check this other one out too, so.
Sure. Same. Dexterity. It's always the inanimate objects, isn't it?
You're the worst.
21.
This one, you crouch down, do a little fiddling. You hear a click. You brace for a... but one doesn't come. And you realize that the click was just the lock opening.
Yay.
This chest is significantly smaller. Maybe only a foot in length. You crack it open, I assume?
I'm going to back off and be like, Claire.
Claire just holds her hand straight out, and the little ghostly mirror image of her hand just kind of pops out of her palm. And she casts Mage Hand. And the little guy just floats over to the chest and tries to open it.
Is this the first time she's done this one?
I honestly don't remember. She's had it for a little bit. I don't remember if I've used it one time. But it's not something she does frequently.
Yeah. So the lid cracks open. Inside, about you're close enough, you can see there's a small. There's 2 small pouches inside.
I will look in those.
One appears to have some slightly bulkier items. You kind of look inside. It is 4 citrine gems. One looks significantly larger than the remaining 3. With your knowledge of stonework and stuff, you know that citrine isn't a hugely rare gem, but they certainly have value.
Okay.
Exactly how much you're not sure. The other bag has the very reassuring clink of money.
Excellent.
As you sort of peer inside and push it around a little bit, you would gauge somewhere in the region of about 65 gold and a handful of copper.
I will place both of them on the table because I know I took some earlier. And I'll just put it on the table and I'll be like, Cosette. And just kind of look at the other, wonder what to do about it.
Cassette will go up and see if she can. Does it look like something maybe she could bash the lock with her shield or something like
You
that?
can give it a go, certainly. What's the worst that could happen?
Is it a built-in frame lock, or is it a dangling lock with like a hook?
It is definitely built in.
Any other ideas before I start bashing?
Be my guest.
All right.
Silverius, maybe you should back away.
Just use your flail stats for the attack,
Okay.
just for ease. We'll say you're proficient with this for the purposes.
8 on the die for a 26.
Okay. So you kind of turn the shield around, get the pointy end ready, and you kind of take a little step back. You actually don't make contact with the lock. You make contact with the wood, and the force that you get behind it just splinters the wood, bends the metal frame to the extent that you sort of just crack it in from the inside with the sheer ferocity of it. You hear what sounds like something glass break as you hit it, but you do now think that you can open the chest. You do also hear a but nothing comes out.
Okay.
It'd be great if it just jammed when I did it, and this time it actually did come out.
2 of them came out.
Yeah.
She'll kind of wince and start lifting the lid.
You see a shattered vial. There's a little pool of...
Quick, lick it up.
Yeah. When in doubt, pull the straw out.
Yep.
Kind of looks like water. In amongst the fragments of glass, there appears to be a rather large toenail.
Anything else? That was the only thing in there?
No, there's more.
Okay.
You,
dude.
That's just where he cut his toenails into.
you see 12 other shattered vials. No. There's another little pouch in here, as well as a quiver with some arrows in it.
She'll pick the others up and mention that there's some sort of liquid that seemed to have broken it. You guys may want to take a look. Somebody who knows a little bit more about potions or alchemy than I do. You may be able to at least determine what it was, although I don't think it's going to be much use to us now.
Maybe something to ask Cater, if nothing else.
Yeah. She'll walk up to Eska and hand her the arrows. I don't know if these are anything special, but you're probably the best one to put them to use.
Thank you.
Hey.
Eska says that's probably
I said
true.
probably.
So looking at the quiver, it looks...
Eska turns her back to Bardo so he can't see the quiver.
And I can't really do much about it because I'm so freaking short.
Yeah.
You got up there.
The quiver looks very mundane. It is low quality. Probably would fetch a copper piece at best. The arrows look very nice.
When you say very nice,
Quick count looks like 15 arrows. The shaft of the arrows made with yew. The feathers look unusual.
would I know I've seen a lot of feathers in my time.
You have. Make a nature check.
19?
Okay. You're very familiar with this because you have encountered these in the not too distant past.
Oh, is it those bird things?
It is axebeak feathers. Yeah. The points look awfully sharp.
Like sharp enough that I should differentiate these arrows from my other arrows, or just, nice arrows?
It's hard to say.
Okay, for now I'm going to differentiate them.
Very well.
In fairness, I'll turn to Bardo and I'll say, Bardo, I know you helped me a little bit with some arrows, but I'm still a touch low. Do you mind if I take these?
I'll just kind of grunt and like, yeah, that's fine.
I mean, this quiver's quite tatty, so they're probably not up to much.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I'm sure I would, because considering I didn't not having observed them myself, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine.
Thanks.
So Cassette, looking in the pouch, this one looks a little heftier than the other one. You would say probably about 90 gold and 55 silver.
Claire would like to go over and check out the liquid in the bottom of the chest.
How would you like to look into this liquid?
How shattered is the bottle?
Really very quite shattered.
Okay.
But there's a little bit of liquid sloshing around in the bottom.
She is going to take out one of the empty holy water flasks that they had made before and try to just maybe scoop up a little bit of liquid if she can into it.
You can. You probably would need someone to help you maneuver things a little bit because the chest is very heavy. So if you need to kind of tweak, like adjust the angle on it, you probably need Silvarius or someone to, maneuver it. Or Cassette if you'd prefer Cassette.
Silvarius, could you come tip the chest for me?
I gotta step forward and pick it up and try to funnel it.
Okay. Silvarius, make a strength check. Claire, make we'll call this Arcana.
Can this be athletics or does it have to be?
Yeah, athletics makes sense.
A 10.
17 Arcana.
Okay. Between you fill up what you think is probably at least 3/4 of the liquid, maybe more. You gonna grab that toenail too?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll shove it right in the bottle with the rest of the liquid.
Very good. You have the vast majority of a liquid in a vial with a toenail.
She looks a little disgusted. But she'll give it a quick whiff, see if it smells in any way familiar.
You would know, being knowledgeable as you are, that if you were to just take a little sip, just like dip a little bit on your finger and taste it, you would be able to establish the nature of the potion. Now, I'll add a caveat here that if for some reason it was, for instance, a potion of poison, which is a thing, you would know that it could also have some negative effects. But by and large, potions you can identify by just tasting a little bit, and you know what it is.
Looking at the vial in her hand, she's got the vial in one hand and the cork for it in the other. She just kind of inhales and fills her cheeks up with air and then blows it out and just, well, here goes, and dips her pinky into the bottle.
Okay.
And we'll put a tiny drop on her tongue.
First of all, it does not taste good. Really, really, really vile. But there's an earthiness to it. There's a grittiness, strong, potent, like BO flavor. As you're kind of taking all that in, you realize that you feel incredibly strong for a brief second. Based on the flavors and so on that you've been getting, you would think that this would be some sort of giant strength potion, and the grittiness kind of leans you towards something like stone giant strength.
Her face goes through a variety of expressions as the different flavors hit her palate. She looks maybe a little green as she's, swishing it around, getting the notes and the flavors and everything. And eventually her eyes get really big and she She grins, just looks super ecstatic. Oh, I know what this is. This is a giant strength potion. And then just kind of like proudly holds the bottle out towards the rest of the group.
Ba-da-ba-da.
Good.
That could be handy.
Does she know beyond it just like the generic of like what it does and that it kind of simulates like the stone giant strength? Does she have any idea of any more like specifics on it?
Firstly, you would know that because you don't have like a full vial, you suspect that the duration may not be as long as it typically would be for one of these. But you would have heard of these. They are unfortunately made using the toenails of the giant in question, most likely a stone giant's toenail. Typically, the effect of these potions is they imbue the drinker with the strength of that giant for approximately an hour. So stone giants have a strength of 23. So that is the strength that it gives you, which is pretty chunky.
That's huge.
Do you have to drink the toenail too?
I don't think so. I think the toenail just kind of, I mean, it adds the magic and, well, maybe a certain level of piquancy to the flavor.
Nice.
Make an Arcana check.
15.
You might have to take the toenail too.
She'll keep that information in her pocket.
Okay, I'll be like, that's good because I just got this feeling of like that just right in the back of the throat. I mean, I've eaten some bad things in my day, but woof.
I had a thought. Our little friend. I realized that perhaps I could do something similar to how I found the purveyor. I could basically keep my mind open and run around as fast as I possibly could around all the areas we've been, see if I touch upon his little thoughts.
I think it's a pretty good idea
What do you
because
think?
I was thinking that we would have to go back and search for secret passages throughout this entire area.
That may still be the case, but if I can sort of pick him up, maybe he's just been secreted somewhere, or
Yeah,
some
that
little
would.
trick has been played to sort of some illusion.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Or we just wander around calling out for him, seeing as we have quelled the other dangers.
Yeah.
Either way.
So what do you want to do?
I mean, if you want to, if you fancy, you could start trying to search from that method, and I'll just be running around, and I'll report back if I feel anything. If not, I'll join in the more thorough search.
Was unsure how much more power you had left in you. I am running low.
I don't feel too bad. I don't know how much power I have left in me either. This is all a bit sort of new, but right now I'm feeling not too drained.
There's just like a curious eye squint at you, like Sylvaris is trying to figure more out about you, just in general.
I try to look elusive. Unlike I may have some, or I may not have some. My plan, if it helps, is to basically run the perimeter of the area we've searched, like 60 feet at a time per round, I guess, and get as far as I can in a minute.
Cast something that makes you run fast too.
I thought about that, but unfortunately, all of my things are concentration.
Oh, Sylvaris is just going to take his sword out, fully lit up, and start walking down the hallway.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I can cast Longstrider on because it's not concentration. I can keep Hunter's Mark up as well. So I'll just get a little bit of dirt off the floor and I rub it on Eska, and I just say, "Giddy up."
I say,
Yeah.
and now how long does that last? That lasts a bit longer, right?
Ow.
There you go.
Okay, nice. So I basically get 80 feet a turn, and I have 10 turns, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I wait till I get a little ways in the corridor because I've already done this room, and then I cast detect thoughts on myself. I'm gonna move first into the room where we had the sleet storm situation. You tell me if I need to stop legging it.
You may continue for now.
Okay. I move right into the middle of the sleet storm area to try and cover the rest of that room.
Okay.
Then,
Nothing.
oh man, this place is big.
As she runs back, I'm like, "Go to the temple."
I move as close as I can to that little side passage, but through to here.
This is funny because we're standing in the middle of a cave and Eska's just like.
Yeah, basically, we're all just kind of standing out there, like watching her as she's running around.
Okay. I get to the mid of the temple there, sort of charging down the corridor. I make a little loop.
Like around the south part?
Yes. Just so that I can get close enough to the walls. And then I emerge back into the main corridor.
When you get here, you sense a presence.
Is it a sort of koboldish presence?
As you focus in on its thoughts, you get the distinct impression that you're hearing something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm very lost and I wish I had my friend here."
I ignore that and I keep going. So I'm just about to like turn and like charge back down the corridor past my bemused-looking friends when I stop and I just call loud as I can. I think he's down here.
Nod and start making my way that way.
Yeah, same. Trundling along after everybody.
And then I just sit for a moment and catch my breath. I'm assuming I don't necessarily see him.
Looking around, you do not see him.
He's here somewhere. I can sense his thoughts. I'm going to deep dive him in the hopes that he realizes we're here.
He'll know that.
Because he'll know that
I
I'm
wonder if it's-
probing, right?
Yeah. Well, I wonder the extent of that.
A wisdom saving throw. Super good at those. Oh, he saved.
15.
So the spell ends. Either way, the target knows that you're probing into its mind.
Finally, I've met my match.
More like no balls.
Yeah, he rolled a 17.
Oh boy.
But you hear a little squeak from beyond the wall to your west, and he goes, "Eska, Eska, is that you, Eska?"
Yes. Can you hear me? Nothing? No. I use my mind and I try and push it through the wall and I say, "It's me. Can you hear me?"
Wait, how are you doing that?
With message.
You hear, "Oh, how are you in my head? I don't understand what's happening."
We're trying to find you. It's magic. Or something. I'm not sure.
Alright. Time to look for some secret passages or something.
Oh, it's
We'll
magic. Oh, that's very clever. You're very clever, Eska.
We'll get you out of there in just a moment.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
I'm assuming this is
Start checking the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Make investigation checks.
And I got light, and I can't get my little radius up, but I got light flooding the area.
11 for Kusa.
9 for me.
15 for Claire.
Claire, you see over on the west wall, as you're kind of looking over there, you see that the wall doesn't quite look right. And as you go look, you put your hand on it, and your hand actually goes slightly through the wall, and you realize that there is some sort of illusion there. And as you do that, you kind of like push through, and you find a doorway.
There's a door here.
The rest of you can't see the door.
She kind of does a second of like taking her hand and like going through the wall in and out a couple times.
They begin to understand what's happening.
I think I should. Maybe I need to roll.
What's happening with your hand?
Yeah.
My hand, it just keeps disappearing. How deep does her hand go before she hits the door?
It's like 6 inches.
Okay, so it's right at the surface.
Yeah.
Can she feel down for any kind of doorknob?
You find a door handle. Now that you know that there's an illusion there, you kind of, the rest of you can now see. You can kind of see basically where the rock wall comes out and covers over the doorway. But the rock wall now looks slightly transparent, sort of like a vague image superimposed on the actual wall that's there.
Does the door handle turn?
It does.
She will turn it.
As you slowly turn the door handle, you hear a creak, and it opens towards you. And then you hear a... "Oh!" And you can see, right up next to a little puddle, a little green kobold. "Oh, you found me. Oh, I always thought you were very nice people." And he kind of looks to his right, looking for Splick to kind of echo his sentiments, and realizes that Splick's not there. And he looks a little crestfallen.
Claire will immediately, like run into the room up to him and start trying to undo the ropes on him and just asking, "Are you okay?"
"Yeah, I'm alright. Been stuck down here a while, though. It's not very nice down here."
"No, it is awfully scary, but we're gonna get you home."
So there's no light sources in here, although, of course, now Severus is wandering in with his sword. Looks like the cavern goes on quite a way.
Claire is pretty much gonna be, preoccupied with getting Sprock untied and everything, so if anyone else wants to look at the room.
It's easy enough. You can work on getting him untied. It's just taking time, but it's not difficult.
I guess just have a listen and a look down the corridor.
Make a perception.
Yeah. Can I do that alongside?
Sure.
Stay outside. Just keep an eye out.
10.
Okay. You don't hear a lot right now, apart from Claire working on the ropes.
Sprock, who put you here?
There's that weird, wibbly face guy.
Yep, good description. We know who you're talking about. We scared him off, actually.
You did? Oh, that's really impressive. He's not very nice. I don't like him. So you kind of wander through. Looks like this is just an empty cavern. As you kind of peer around, looking to see if there's anything sort of untoward. But it looks like this was just an area. You do see some sort of pallets with nothing on them, and some little refuse piles that looks like it's been used for storage mostly. And placing Sprock here was, given you suspect that normally that it just normally is a door. All the way in the far west corner, you see what looks like it could have been essentially sort of sleeping quarters for the Durgar. Nothing fancy at all.
I return. Looks like we're all clear. Should we return to I was going to say the surface, but the upper caves?
And reclaim or claim our prize.
Well, I was thinking, reuniting Sprock with Splick, but sure.
Hand in hand. Sprock,
Yes?
did they simply place you here? Or say anything in addition?
Nah, the weird dwarf things, they didn't say anything. Not once. The this guy with the wibblies on his face, he didn't really talk to me either. He said something in my head about bait, but that's about it.
My fist clutches.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you angry.
Not you.
I just kind of step away.
He kind of looks around to see who else might have made you angry, and he looks a bit perplexed.
It was the Wibbly one.
It's okay, Sprock. Silvarius tends to just be angry all the time.
He does seem a bit angry.
It was an attempt at a whisper, but it was basically a stage whisper.
Are we
Well-
going back?
Yeah.
Knowing that we were lured down here, I don't want to spend another minute down here.
No, and who knows when he's going to return and find that we've pilfered all his belongings.
I'm sure he already knew we were,
I mean, he left them there.
knowing what he knows. Exactly.
I'm more concerned about what other doors are hidden in these caverns.
That's true.
In what sense, Claire?
Well, this door was easily hidden from us. It makes sense that maybe there's other doors. I mean, earlier we thought the Durgar were just coming out of nowhere at us, but now that we know that there's invisible hidden doors, I mean, who knows how deep this cavern goes? And what other things could be behind those hidden doors?
That and the chasm. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I do think now is not the time to search.
No. We need to rest up. Regroup.
Even the purveyor seemed to think that we needed more time to learn things.
He's
And
just
he
playing
doesn't-
with us.
And he is playing with us, but I feel like he wants us to know. He doesn't want to tell us, but he wants us to know.
I'm somewhat concerned. We are being used to possibly find out information for him.
That could be true.
If he is tracking us somehow, whether it be arcane or spy.
Yes, that is a concern, but I must admit I feel you'll disagree with me on this, but I feel like it's something we can't really do a lot about, and ultimately we need to learn what's going on anyway. At least for the moment. I don't know that we have much of a choice but to continue to try and find out what's happened. The fact that we found that we're not in some alternate dimension is quite a revelation in and of itself. Unless it's a lie, of course.
Does clear up. That's true. I hope we can find out more in the book. And if not, we do have a location of Duarte, a key figure in this entire game.
Indeed.
We also need to let Cater know that he's being watched.
I say that we just drop random facts about his family and never reveal how we know them.
That's what Peter needs in his life, a little more anxiety.
Yeah. He's getting too comfortable in that store.
Yeah. You ask him, how's your family? And give a name specifically.
So, you guys heading back up? to the other layer?
That would be my vote.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll say you get to the bottom of the sort of the ladder that gets you up to the next level, and that is where we will end tonight's session.
Just for the record, Eska's trying to keep pace with the group, but it's really hard. She keeps kind of accidentally walking ahead. She's having a really tough time keeping pace.
Did you do that at random? What was left behind?
I don't know. Did I?
That's fine. Just like roll a d6, and whose ever number comes up is the one that gets their bio left behind.
One with like his grocery shopping list, like just whatever random paper.
These people are so boring. All they do is shop.
Yeah, we're gonna make a pit stop on the way back up to the room and just grab
Yep.
every single book. And
Because that could be some really useful information.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to make the mover's mistake though, and try to fit all the books into one chest. So it's convenient to carry, but also 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely thinking about carrying that stupid thing out.
Yeah. I was looking. I had hempen rope, and we could have made a treasure chest
I mean,
backpack.
it was if
You were gonna get the
Coast,
contents one way or another.
oh yeah.
About halfway through that, I thought to myself, should we really be looting his study here? But you know,
Well, I was totally going to.
we
anyways,
were kind of
because
committed.
I mean, if it
Yeah, I mean, he grabbed what he
if it
wanted.
makes you feel any better, I refrained from peeing in one of his bowls. So
Okay.
I was like, all right, we're gonna see this guy again, and I won't.
Open every single book and dog ear one page. Because I feel like he's the kind that doesn't like dog earing his books.
Yeah.
Can we see if they were alphabetically placed, or if he had a system of organization, we can just screw that all up?
Sure. When you go back there, you can look into that.
Okay.
We can steal his stuff. We can even attack him, but dog hearing his books. We can't
Yeah.
lower
It's
ourselves
like,
to
I go
that.
In
Go
fairness,
heroes.
cassette would not stand for that.
That's true. Could have taken those books and taken them to the chasm and just dropped them down, I guess.
If we turn to that, then they really win.
Oh boy.
Maybe once we start dog earing his books, he'll come back and say, now you're ready.
Yeah, right.
You have turned to the true path of evil.
You do have what it
Yeah.
takes.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody. I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief now that Sprock has been found. Isn't it interesting? The buffet has so many wonderful things to say. I'm sure none of that's going to come up in the future, though. The only way to find out is to tune in for more fables from the Pickled Quipper. Bye for now.